जय श्री माताजी। विश्व के सभी साधकों का सुबह के ध्यान सत्र में हार्दिक स्वागत है। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी को वंदन करके हम सब ध्यान की स्थिति में बैठते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी, आज का ध्यान सत्र शुरू करने की कृपया अनुमति प्रदान कीजिए। सामूहिक बंधन लेते हैं। अपना चित्त हृदय में लाते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपावंत होकर आप हमारे हृदय में आइए, विराजिए। आपकी कृपा में हमारा हृदय निर्मल, शुद्ध एवं विशाल बनाइए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में हम केवल शुद्ध आत्मा हैं। तीन महामंत्र, तत्पश्चात श्री गणेश मंत्र।
मा साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः।
जय श्री माता जी। संतुलन करने हेतु अपना राइट हैंड पृथ्वी तत्व पर रखते हैं, अपना चित्त ईड़ा नाड़ी और सहस्रार पर, परम पूज्य श्री माता जी आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के ईड़ा नाड़ी पर तमोगुण के सभी बाधक तत्व भूमि तत्व में विलीन कर दीजिए। श्री माता जी आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के ईड़ा नाड़ी पर श्री महाकाली श्री भैरवनाथ जी की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए, कार्यान्वित कीजिए। राइट हैंड गोद में, लेफ्ट हैंड आकाश की तरफ, अपना चित्त पिंगला नाड़ी और सहस्रार पर, परम पूज्य श्री माता जी आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के पिंगला नाड़ी पर रजोगुण के सभी बाधक तत्व अहंकार आकाश तत्व में विलीन कर दीजिए। श्री माता जी आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के पिंगला नाड़ी पर श्री महासरस्वती श्री हनुमान जी की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए, कार्यान्वित कीजिए। लेफ्ट हैंड गोद में, चित्त मध्य नाड़ी और सहस्रार पर, परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपा कर आप हमें संतुलन दीजिए, हमें वर्तमान में रखिए। अपना चित्त मूलाधार चक्र पर लाते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के मूलाधार चक्र पर श्री गणेश जी की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए, कार्यान्वित कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर आप हमें अबोध बनाइए। चित्त मूलाधार पर श्री कुंडलिनी गौरी माता साक्षात। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात श्री कुंडलिनी गौरी माता साक्षात श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवै नमो नमः। चित्त स्वादिष्ठान चक्र पर परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपावंत होकर आप हमारे स्वादिष्ठान चक्र पर विराजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर आप हमें निर्मल विद्या, शुद्ध विद्या प्रदान कीजिए। कृपा कर हमें हमारा चित्त स्थिर कीजिए। श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में सामूहिकता के स्वादिष्ठान चक्र पर श्री ब्रह्मदेव सरस्वती जी की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए, कार्यान्वित कीजिए। अपना चित्त मध्य नाड़ी से सहस्रार पर लाते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपावंत होकर आप हमारे सहस्रार पर विराजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमारा आत्म साक्षात्कार दृढ़ कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर आप हमें निर्विचारिता प्रदान कीजिए, हमें ध्यान में स्थित कीजिए। जय श्री माता जी। इसी ध्यान की स्थिति में अमृतवाणी आत्मसात करते हैं। स्वादिष्ठान चक्र 1981, पहला भाग।
आपने विनती की है कि हिंदी में भाषण कीजिएगा। बात यह है कि यह तय किया गया था कि इस जगह मैं अंग्रेजी में बातचीत करूंगी। उसकी वजह यह है कि अभी तक हिंदुस्तान में अंग्रेजी में मैंने कहीं भी बातचीत नहीं की, और ये जो अतिथि लोग आए हैं आज तक मेरा भाषण सुन नहीं पाए, इसलिए इनसे कहा था कि यहाँ पर मैं अंग्रेजी में बातचीत करूंगी। और जब मंदिरों में आदि या मेरे ख्याल से दिल्ली के विद्यापीठ में भी जो भाषण होने वाले हैं वो हिंदी भाषा में ही होंगे, इसलिए कृपया आप दूसरे भाषणों में भी आएंगे तो मैं हिंदी में बातचीत करूंगी। आशा है आप लोग बुरा नहीं मानेंगे, क्योंकि ये अतिथि हैं, थोड़ा सा इनका भी कभी ख्याल करना चाहिए। हालांकि आप लोग सब थोड़ा बहुत तो अंग्रेजी समझते हैं और मैं कोई ऐसी कठिन अंग्रेजी बोलती नहीं। अगर आपको कोई उसमें प्रश्न हो तो मैं आपको बता दूं। सिर्फ ये 5-6 लेक्चर्स जो हैं ये मैं अंग्रेजी में देने वाली हूँ, इसके लिए क्षमा कीजिएगा। Yesterday I talked to you about the subtle centers which exist within our being. The knowledge of this was known to Indians, to many Indian seers, thousands of years back, but they did not disclose it. There were two types of people who became aware of the higher powers of nature. One of them were the people who thought that we may be able to excite the nature itself. So they started worshipping all the 5 elements, through the Veda mantras and all that, they tried to awaken the 5 mantras, the result of which we see today is the manifestation of science, that they have been able to harness the energy of those 5 elements. The second type of people who became aware that there must be some force which is giving us evolution, they started singing the praise of God in bhakti and requesting God to incarnate on this earth. These were the bhakti margis. That is how in the Virata, in the primordial being, there are 2 forces as are in the human beings, as I told you yesterday. One is the emotional force, which is the bhakti, which gives us existence. This is the force through which the whole universal was conceived, was desired, and in our Sahajayoga terminology, it is called as the Mahakali Shakti. On the right side of the Virat, as we have in the human beings, is the power of action, where he uses all the 5 elements to create, is the power of Mahasaraswati, according to Sahajayoga terminology. The third force that did not operate so openly started thousands and thousands of years back in this country, where people started giving Ishvara Pranidhan, which is the basic of Hatha Yoga. That is to establish Ishvara within you. First the Ishvara must be established, the light of your spirit, your Atma must be awakened, and then the cleansing must be done, and people must be established into their self-realization. This line of action was taken for very, very few people, extremely few. So much so that after Buddha, when Viditama, his one of disciples, went to Japan, he started a cult called as Zen, which is the same as Sahajayoga. And they are mentioned that in 6 centuries they had only 26 Kashyapas, means the ones who were realized. Even Indra was given realization, even Brahmadeva was given realization. So it extends up to the date when Brahmadeva was created out of Shri Narayana, Shri Vishnu. To us, all these deities are mythological things. Actually, they became mythological because when people started talking about the flower in which the honey was, people started worrying about the flower. They were more worried about the flower than the honey. So then the people came up, like Buddha and Mahavira, who said, better not talk about the flower at all. If you talk about the flower, people get stuck up at that point. They go discussing, arguing, and also getting into rituals which were dead, just trying to do some sort of a dead work, and the progress of their being was completely obliterated, and they could not go any further with it. It was then desired that something should be done to overcome this hurdle of human beings by which he gets stuck up to forms. So many people on this earth came as gurus, as real gurus. The manifestation of this great principle of primordial master, as I told you yesterday, is called as Dattatreya, came on this earth many a times, and they tried to establish within us our sustenance, our dharma. with this central force of evolution. Only through by establishment of sustenance that we can evolve. As I told you yesterday about carbon, has its own sustenance. Gold has its own sustenance, that gold is not tarnishable. In the same way, human beings have their own sustenance. These gurus came on this earth to establish that sustenance within us. All of them are the incarnation of the same spirit. Like Raja Janaka, he came as Nanaka. Also Muhammad Sahib was the same personality, absolutely the same personality as Guru Nanak. There is no difference in their personality. Just the same. That's why Guru Nanaka came on this earth to tell people that you should not find on this basis of Hindu and Muslims. Because he realized as Muhammad Sahib that he had done a mistake to tell people that all human beings are just the same and one should not force things in this manner. Actually, the whole thing gets perverted as soon as the disciples take the place of the gurus. Thus we had the middle path built in by the gurus in the center of our being, as shown there, as called as the void. The first chakra I told you about is the center of innocence. It is bestowed upon by the deity of Shri Ganesh. These gurus did not talk of the deities too much because, as I told you, people were talking more about the flower than about the honey. So they said, talk about the Nirakar, talk about the formless, by which people will pay their attention to the formless. But still it became talk and talk and talk. When they talked about the flower, people got stuck up with the talk about the flower. And when they talked about the Nirakara and formless, they got stuck up with that. So human beings are such that they get stuck up with their thoughts, which are limited, coming from a limited area of their intelligence and their rationality. So what was rational became a problem for saints to give realization. So there was again a revival at the time of Shankaracharya. Again Nanaka came and talked of Nirakara. Like that they were trying to bring the people closer to reality by telling them, now forget this, now take to this. Now forget this, take to this. Somehow that by giving up things they might be able to reach the reality. Now the center of Muladhara is the center, is the Muladhara chakra. One has to understand the importance of this center being separated from Muladhara itself. Muladhara is the place where the Kundalini sits, is in the sacrum, is in the bone called sacrum. Sacrum means sacred. That means even in Latin language it was called as a sacred bone. That means they knew that there was something sacred, holy about this bone. It is said that when the body burns, the whole body burns, but seldom this bone burns, and if it burns, it requires very tremendous heat. This triangular bone had this power within us, which is the power of Kundalini, which creates the whole being, still it remains the whole. That's why it is called as a residual power of Kundalini. Now this Kundalini resides there for ages together, and it comes back with you whenever you are born again. She is your mother. She has been your eternal mother. She is your individual mother. You do not share her motherhood with anybody else. She is the one who has loved you all your life, and she is anxiously waiting for a moment when she can give your second birth, your Punarjanma. Now such a Kundalini, how can she be dangerous? Many people have told me that they have read some books which says that Kundalini awakening is a very dangerous thing. I have also seen some of the very, very books written so big as that, with such ignorance, saying that Kundalini is in the stomach. I was surprised that when you don't know anything about it, why should you write? Kundalini is not there. She is in the Muladhara, and the Muladhara chakra is protecting the Muladhara. You can see with your naked eyes when you come to Sahajayoga the pulsation of the Kundalini in the triangular bone. If there is an obstruction above it, but if there is no obstruction, the Kundalini just shoots off. Now, this Ganesha chakra is very important, as I told you yesterday, because the first thing that God created was innocence, and this innocence is Shri Ganesh. It's so delicate. It's like a flower. If you try to play about with your innocence, Ganesha just gets angry with you or he sleeps off. Now these people who have described the Kundalini being troublesome or coming up as a lightning or giving you kriyas, as I told you yesterday, are the people who are naive. They don't know how to handle the Kundalini. And that's how they have made mistakes. By committing these mistakes, they have become so popular. People like the people who have committed mistakes and telling something wrong. All these things happen because you have no idea as to how to handle the Kundalini. It is Ganesha who gets angry, not the Kundalini. It is he sitting down there informs the Kundalini that now you can rise because there is somebody who has the authority to raise you. Now Shri Ganesha is a very important deity within us. Shri Ganesha is made by Mother Earth. Mother Earth has created it. Mother Earth has got the power within itself as magnetism. Magnetism is the power of Mother Earth. This magnetism within us resides as Shri Ganesh. We too have this magnetism within us. The birds have this magnetism within them. The fishes have this magnetism within them. When the birds fly all the way from Siberia to India, how do they do it? How do they know the direction which way to fly? They have this magnet within themselves, and that's how they can fly. They are innocent. Animals are innocent. Only the human beings have the freedom to completely destroy his or her innocence. A person who is absolutely innocent has a great sense of direction. As soon as he is misdirected, immediately he knows where it is wrong. But once the Kundalini awakens, he gets a direction so enlightened within him that immediately he knows within himself that this man is not a religious person, this man is a thug, this man is a good person, or this man is a realized soul. This center is very important for all of us. By God's grace, India has got a speciality as far as Shri Ganesh is concerned. As I told you yesterday that Indians on the whole are innocent people. On the whole they are innocent. But we have really tried to destroy it by getting sophisticated and over-intelligent. This center is to preserve and to be maintained through Sahajayoga practice after realization. There are certain asanas which are to be done. There are certain mantras that are to be recited to keep this center all right. Now the second center that we have within us is the Nabhi, which is placed inside the void. It is the second in creation, that's why I call it the second. Through it arises the third center called as Swadhisthana center. Now the Nabhi center has got 10 petals. It has got 10 petals. In the same way, the solar plexus, which is a gross expression of this subtle center, also has got 10 petals or 10 subplexuses. Now this center controls most of our digestion on the grosser level, and basically it gives us evolutionary power by which we have evolved. Only through this center we have evolved to be human beings. In the animals, or in the very, very small animals, even in the unicellular animals like amoeba, it acts like a seeking. They seek food. Basically, they seek food. As they grow better and better in their evolutionary process, then their seeking changes from one to another. Even in the human beings, the seeking has been first, say, to overpower the nature, then overpower the human beings, then affluence, money, possessions, emotional possessions. All these seeking have been in human beings. They all came to you through Nabhi Chakra. But as I told you yesterday, anybody who gives up the path of moderation falls onto the trap of the left and right and goes onto the two areas which are built within us. One on the left is called as the collective subconscious, and the another one on the right hand side is called as the collective supraconscious. So all the extremes of the Nabhi Chakra can be very, very difficult. For example, those people who fast, just for fasting's sake, is all right. Sometimes one should fast. In the name of God, if you fast, it is all wrong. Because God never wants you to fast. This is something wrong, that you want to torture your body. For what? Like people who want to call God would like to sort of stand on their heads, stand on your one leg, or do all kinds of torturing things. This is the way we deny God's existence and His love and His affection. If He is there, we are going to meet Him. What is there to fast and put Him into trouble? By making Him unhappy. If you want to make your mother unhappy, you do it this way. I will not eat my food. And that's how the mother gets very upset. So there is no need for anybody to fast in the name of God. If you have to fast, then you can fast it for your health or for your stomach trouble because you have eaten too much. Is a different point. But there is no need to believe that fasting for God is a good thing. The fasting takes you more to the right hand side of the Nabhi Chakra, by which a person may become a very dry personality, extremely dry. The more you fast, the drier you become. Such a person, the day he fasts, actually they fast thinking all the time about food. What thing are we going to eat while fasting, and what after are we going to eat? So the attention is all towards food, no doubt. But this kind of a pressure, or zabardasti as you call it, on yourself pushes your attention to the right hand side. By that you enter into the area of collective supraconscious. Fasting people become emotionally dried up. Their emotions become dried up because only the right hand side is the action towards it takes place, but the desire is not fulfilled. And that's why the left hand side is frozen. You must have heard of so many seers we have had, so-called rishis, who were very hot-tempered. They used to curse people. They used to just bhasmisat, make them into bhasmas. And they used to just curse such people. These were the people who developed the power of the Surya, as they said. Like Surya they became, because this was a Surya Nadi. And they could, by their power, could just kill anybody they liked. Now this is a power which is extremely destructive. It does not give any kalyana to anyone. It is of no use to become such a person that you look at somebody and the person becomes ashes. Imagine you have been made human beings with such difficulty. From amoeba you have come to this stage. Now, anybody who tries to do such tricks is absolutely anti-God. He doesn't understand the purpose of God. He doesn't know where does he play his role. He becomes a destructive force. So these are not powers, but these are negative forces. And how they work out, how these forces come into us, that I will tell you later. Now, on the left-hand side, the people who are too indulgent into food, they eat too much, they are lethargic, and they are all the time thinking about eating, eating, and eating. Such people pass into the left-hand side. This is also a very dangerous state. When they go on to the left-hand side too much, they are again attacked by the collective subconscious, and you may develop any disease accordingly. But the third chakra, which is Swadhisthana, is very important, because this is the center which revolves around the Nabhi Chakra. And the main work it has to do is to convert the fat cells from your stomach for the use of your brain. When you think, you have the use of the brain cells, but they are to be replaced. And this replacement is only done through the help of the Swadhisthana chakra in the stomach. I think the medicine people do not know about it. If they had known, they would have cured many diseases. Because it has to do this important work, and when you start thinking too much, planning too much, then the work of this poor Swadhisthana chakra increases to such an extent that it neglects other centers, you can say the other functions that it has to perform. The other functions are that it has to look after the liver. Now, liver is a very, very important organ within us. By liver, we sort out all our poisons. All kinds of poisons are sorted out by liver. And the poisons are liberated in the bloodstream as heat. When you have too many poisons in the body, then you get your temperature and it is evaporated from your skin. That is a natural way the liver throws out all the poisons within your body. But when the liver is out of gear, it does not. Those people who suffer from liver do not get temperature. Cirrhosis of liver, even cancer has the same principle. In cancer also, you do not get temperature. The heat of the body is not eliminated because cancer cannot be cured with the people who have such a bad liver. It cannot be sorted out because the poison of the body cannot be taken out, and these people never get temperature. That's why one can never know if one has cancer till it reaches absolutely a galloping stage. There you might get temperature because of other reasons. But the first indication that a man gets from his body is the temperature, which never rises with cancer. Now this same center, Swadhisthana, has to do other jobs like looking after your spleen and your pancreas, your kidneys and your uterus. Now spleen is a very, very important organ again, which we neglect in these modern times. One has to understand what is the speciality of spleen. Spleen is the speedometer within us. It controls our speed. These days if you find people speak so speedily that you don't know how they are speaking, it goes telescopically. They walk so fast that if they have to go to the station, you will find them in the other station. They are so ahead of time that it is impossible to connect them with the reality. Now the speedometer is the spleen. Supposing when you are having your food, we used to have a very good system. Even in Bengal, the husband would be sitting, eating his food, and wife would be fanning him, and the fanning would determine the speed of the person's eating. Now, she is to control. And the another thing is that, say, even in Maharashtra, people are eating, they'll say, Savkash, slowly, slowly, have the food slowly. They go on saying, it may look a little funny to some people, but it is so that Savkash, Savkash, go on slowly. There's time, don't be in a hurry. But these days, the way we eat our food is responsible for creating problems like blood cancer within us. We do not realize how blood cancer is created within us, because I told you yesterday, I will let you know how cancer is created. Now this spleen has to work out all the emergencies within us. Supposing we are eating our food and suddenly we have to run out. It is already producing more blood cells for the consumption of the food we are having. Then suddenly we want to run, then it has to produce more blood cells. Supposing at the time, many people have a habit of reading the newspaper at the time of eating the food. It's very wrong idea. Absolutely. Because, newspaper are the most ashubh things that you can think of in this world. One should not read any newspaper in the morning if you listen to me. They are absolutely inauspicious. Because they always give something horrible on the front page. It's also sensational that they don't want to give anything that is good. And once I had an interview with one of the journalists, and I said, why don't you give something about Sahajayoga? Because we are doing good work, people are getting out of their drugs and they are getting cured and all that. He said, this is doing good, this is good, but this is no sensation. See, they said that when the Plane arrives in time in London, nobody announces it. But if there is a mishap, then only we announce. Otherwise we don't. So if you read such horrible news at that time, or open the TV at that time where they see a horrid face or some sort of a horrid idea, immediately your speedometer, being a sensitive thing, starts producing more blood cells for the emergency. God knows what emergency has come up. With this, the speedometer becomes really crazy, becomes mad. It doesn't know what to produce, when to produce. It loses its control with the whole and it starts producing blood cells which are crazy blood cells. These blood cells, like mad, start attacking other blood cells, and that's how the blood cancer is produced. It is triggered, as I told you, by the attack from the left collective subconscious. As I told you yesterday, it happens like that. So, one has to realize that this kind of madness of speeding up yourself is not needed. What is the need? I have seen people, they'll be all right, but before the plane has to leave, about 3 hours before that, suddenly goes wrong in them. Suddenly. They got mad. They forget this, forget that, forget everything, land up there without passport, without their money, without everything. Till 3 hours, they are all right. Suddenly the idea that they have to go, they go crazy. This is also the work of speedometer, which spoils your sense of judgment, sense of stability, and you start behaving as if you have gone mad. And anybody who sees people at the airport, I get really frightened the way they are. They don't know where they are going, what's happening to them. There's nothing to be so frightened of. What is there to be so much worried? I mean, I have never worried about time all my life. I have never missed a plane. I have never missed a train. I don't know why to worry. After all, if you have to miss it, you'll miss it. Mostly I have seen people plan out to miss, to leave things at home. Most of those people who plan out too much always miss things at home and also miss the plane. It's a common thing. Or they will not find out if the plane is out or is not coming or something like that. This is one of the examples I have told you, because these days people try to save the time. You are trying to save the time. Everybody seems to be trying to save the time. Somebody said that I must go to London. Can you arrange my passage? I said, I don't know anybody with these airlines people. I don't know. How will I help you? No, you must arrange. You must arrange. A relation of mine. I said, why? What is the need for you to go to London so fast? After all, you can go tomorrow. It's all right. It doesn't matter. Whenever you get the seat, you can go. What is such a hurry? I mean, at least the government of Britain is not going to fall down. Maybe Indian government, many government servants think that the Indian government is there because of them. It's all right. I don't mind that myth. But even English government is not going to fall out because of you. What is such a hurry? He said, no, I have to go there because I have to attend a ball. So you can imagine. All this time saving and all this horrible thing is to waste time there. People try to save their time just to go for a discotheque or for a drinking party. Just imagine, they must go in right time for a drinking party. What is for a drunkard, whether you go early or later? In any case, you will get drunk, no problem. And others who are drunk will not know when you came and when you went away. So there is no need to hurry up so much. That doesn't mean that you should be always late at a place. I don't mean that. But one should not hurry up. You will be much more in time if you do not hurry up. You will be just in time if you do not hurry up. It is better not to hurry than to be such a slave of your watches. Because the time that is to be saved is not for all this nonsensical thing, but is an urge from within to save the time for meditation. The time has come for us to get our realization and to meditate within ourselves and to grow within ourselves and to transform into the new awareness of God's realization. This is why we are seeking the time. That's why we have to have the watch to know how many hours are there left for us to meditate. This urge has been misunderstood by human beings and they are misusing it for some another purpose. I am sure after some time they will realize, because this kind of madness leads to horrible diseases. Another disease that people normally suffer from, especially in Delhi is very common, is diabetes. Diabetes is caused because the same center which is using its power to pay, to to supply the cells, the fat cells for your brain, has to look after also the pancreas. Now the pancreas is the one which digests your sugars. Now if all the time you are thinking, all the time you are planning, then what can this poor one center do? It cannot work out the pancreas. And that's how only the so-called educated and planners get diabetes. It's a balancing. Because they use too much of their right side and the left side is completely frozen. What happens? That all their left side problems start. The nature takes its respite. It tries to teach you through these methods. If you do not understand that you have to lead a balanced life, the other problems can crop up like kidney troubles. But the worst of all is the heart attack. Only a person who works very hard, thinks too much of himself, and thinks that he's the one who is the supporter of the whole kingdom and the one who stands like Giridhari ji with a finger in his hand, all such people are apt to get heart attacks. Absolutely no doubt about it. Because they work so hard. They work out their right side and don't worry about their left side. The left side goes to a point. The another type is the type which worries too much about their body, physical health, like Hatha Yoga, now so-called Hatha Yoga of the modern times. If you do too much of exercises and too much of physical exercises, you neglect your spirit, which is your heart. There is no balance between your heart and the spirit. The heart is all the time working for giving you more blood for your these horrible exercises that you are doing. There is no need for you to take out all your intestines and put them back. Some people do such horrible these exercises. I don't know for what. What is the need to do such exercises indiscriminately? Of course, in Sahajayoga also, after realization, you have to do certain asanas according to the need of the chakras. If the Swadishthana chakra is caught up on the left side or right side, there are certain asanas one has to do. But if you do at that time some other chakra, other exercise, you will spoil it worse. Because you'll spoil that center which is all right, because it is all right, why are you bending it? And the another one which is spoiled is not attended to. There is a big knowledge about it. I should say there is a big science about all these things. If you do not know that, and if you just do it indiscriminately, it would be that you just have a little cold and you are taking all the medicines right from cancer up to TB. This is so indiscriminate, doing all the asanas all the time and then end up your life with a heart attack.
जय श्री माता जी, कृपया ध्यान की स्थिति बनाए रखें। जय श्री माता जी। श्री आदिशक्ति मंत्र। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवै नमो नमः। आरती की तैयारी करते हैं।
सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको
शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी की
जय। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आज का ध्यान हम आपके श्री चरणों पर समर्पित करते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में हमारे अंदर पंच तत्व की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमारे लेफ्ट साइड में श्री महाकाली की शक्ति जागृत कीजिए, कार्यान्वित कीजिए। कृपा कर हमें शुद्ध विद्या, निर्मल विद्या प्रदान कीजिए। श्री माता जी, हमारे अंदर गुरु तत्व प्रस्थापित कीजिए, धर्म की स्थापना कीजिए। श्री माता जी, कृपा कर हमें परम चैतन्य से आशीर्वादित कीजिए, हमें अबोध बनाइए। कृपा कर हमारा चित्त स्थिर कीजिए। श्री माता जी, हमें सहज अवस्था में रखिए। कृपा कर हमें घड़ी की गुलामी से मुक्त कीजिए, हमें संतुलन में रखिए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपके श्री चरणों पर हमारा कोटि कोटि नमन, कोटि कोटि नमन, अनंत कोटि नमन। जय श्री माता जी। सामूहिक बंधन लेते हैं। जय श्री माता जी। आज के कार्यक्रम, आज शाम का ध्यान ठीक 7 बजे प्रतिष्ठान पुणे यूट्यूब चैनल पर लाइव प्रसारित होगा। आज का ध्यान सत्र यहीं पे संपन्न होता है। अब हम सहज भजनों का आनंद लेते हैं। आज का दिन सबके लिए आनंदमय, मंगलमय रहे। जय श्री माता जी।
दरबार में जो भी आए जो भी आए तोरे दरबार में, जो भी आए तोरे दरबार में, बिन मांगे सब कुछ बातें। जो भी आए तोरे दरबार में, बिन मांगे सब कुछ बातें। आज हम आए दर पे तुम्हारे, आज हम आए दर पे तुम्हारे। शारदे विद्यादानी दयानी दुखहरणी माँ शारदे। आस लगी मोहे ताल सुरन की, आस लगी आस लगी मोहे ताल सुरन की, आस लगी मोहे रे मा पद सा नि द प म प म रे सा रे मा म प द प म प सा। आस लगी मोहे ताल सुरन की, आस लगी मोहे ताल सुरन की। हंसवाहिनी वीणा वादिनी, आस लगी मोहे ताल सुरन की। हंसवाहिनी वीणा वादिनी, शरणागत को कर दे ज्ञानी, शरणागत को कर दे ज्ञानी। शारदे विद्यादानी दयानी दुखहरणी माँ शारदे। विद्यादानी दयानी दुखहरणी शारदे शारदे शारदे।
जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, माता सरस्वती, माता सरस्वती, माता सरस्वती। जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, शरणागत प्रतिपालन हारी, शरणागत प्रतिपालन हारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। चंद्रबिंब सम वदन विराजे, चंद्रबिंब सम वदन विराजे, वदन विराजे, वदन चंद्रबिंब सम वदन विराजे, शीश मुकुट माला गलधारी, शीश मुकुट माला गलधारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। वीणा वाम अंगवे शोभे, वीणा वाम अंगवे शोभे, सामगीत ध्वनि मधुर प्यारी, सामगीत ध्वनि मधुर प्यारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। श्वेतवसन कमलासन सुन्दर, श्वेतवसन कमलासन सुन्दर, कमलासन कमलासन सुन्दर, श्वेतवसन कमलासन सुन्दर, संग सखी शुभ हंस सवारी, संग सखी शुभ हंस सवारी, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती, जय जगदीश्वरी माता सरस्वती। ब्रह्मानंद में दास तुम्हारो, ब्रह्मानंद में दास तुम्हारो, दास तुम्हारो, दास तुम्हारो, ब्रह्मानंद में दास तुम्हारो, जगदीश्वर